We started thinking about wanting to get a house as a result of having gone to Williamsburg. We went to Williamsburg for the weekend, and we were fascinated by what they had done there and those cute little houses and so forth. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of nice if we got an old house? So David and I came scouting down here, and we saw this house on the corner of Concord and City Park.
Did you and David become pretty active in the events down here?
I did from the very beginning, but David was never too much to get involved with things like that. And matter of fact, he was not even an official member of the German Village Society.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He just had this idea that maybe the less people know about two guys living together, that would be probably the best thing, you know. When two women lived together, it was never questioned. But the minute two guys lived together, it was always questioned. But because we sort of maybe opened up the doors.
On our 50th year together, the Columbus Dispatch asked us if we would come out, quote, come out publicly. Now, I presume by that time most people knew we were gay, but the word gay had never been said to anybody other than another gay person as far as I was concerned. Mm-hmm. So we came out in the Dispatch, and of course nothing happened. We went along just like we were, but it was a hell of a lot easier life.
They really made it seem okay for a lot of people in the community, and I know many people they supported, when it was so difficult to come out, which it's still not as easy as it should be, but it's still, and I really think that stories like that are kind of the spirit of Fred and Howard that infused the village.
We had the flight to the suburbs for so many years, and I think this was legitimately really one of the first environments where people were coming back in to the city. And the people that were doing that, I think, were more liberal, were more of the urban pioneer type of individuals that recognized that, they were moving into a community that had a homogeny of people, and they wanted that. And it just made it a very comforting place.
I really liked German Village for the charm of it, but I also really liked it because I was also just coming out. And I really wasn't coming out, I was still teaching school, but in my own, I was being introduced to the gay community. And German Village was a place that gay people could live and be fairly open and comfortable with their lives.
We didn't have as many public events or public activities or public organizations, so having that community sense was important. I think also, the bar environment, which was where a lot of gay life, went on as far as from a social perspective. That was focused in the downtown area. Some of that was focused in German Village, even though I think the rest of the city thought that German Village was filled with gay bars, which it never was.
But in those days it was, pretty avant-garde. It was the artists. There was an energy down here that you couldn't find anyplace else in the city of Columbus. And so it attracted, the artist community and the arts community, the people that were in theater, people that were in opera, people that were in the symphony. A lot of the gay guys participated in the German Village Society. I served on the board, and God knows how many others. Many of us in the 70s and 80s were really involved, and clear up until the present day.
Everybody just viewed everybody else as you're allowed to live the life you want to live. and that's okay in the community. And I think that's a testament to the kind of people that German Village attracted. You know, maybe those are the people that are the urban pioneers. Maybe it's the people that said, I want a different type of a lifestyle, you know, that is not focused on, you know, I don't want to say it's not focused on the family, but, you know, but maybe I can say that as far as that was not the focus of everything in German Village. The family in the sense of, you know, the mother, the father, the multiple kids. You know, it was more, like you said, an adult community that welcomed all other aspects and welcomed families, but there was a predominantly adult aspect to it.
Gay men have been financially more able to handle some of the prices and the construction down here, the costs involved, and gay women have not in general. I think that is changing, but I think early in the gay history, that was probably more the case than not.
Now, again, let's take us back to 1979. So we're talking, you know, close to 40 years ago now, getting back toward 35 to 40 years ago. There was a lot more emphasis on the men at that point. The women's movement was just developing. But as far as, you know, what a lot of the men in German Village were doing was they were also looking for economic opportunities. I mean, that's what created a lot of the synergy and a lot of the development that occurred down here. And there seemed to be more disposable money at that time with men than there was with women.
Village, another reason that there weren't very many women down in German Village is because women couldn't get loans, and in fact in 75, 76 when I got that loan, it was quite unusual for a woman to get a loan. So I was just very lucky that I got one, and I was possibly one of the first women to get one.
Well, it certainly was a scary time, and I think overall people were still accepting down here of us, but a lot of us were very afraid, to be frank, and I've had a lot of friends die.
I was young, I was just coming to grips with who I was. I wasn't out that much, and so I didn't have, fortunately I didn't have the stigma of what society thought of me, because I wasn't necessarily out to everybody at the time. So I was still in my closed little group and closed little community, and so we just basically were huddled, terrified.
I think literally in the 87, 88, I don't think, you know, there were no meds, there was no treatment. It was, the diagnosis was a death sentence.
And there were, at the time, there were activists here. You know, Steve and his peers were those activists. I mean, and they were working hard, and they were going to Washington, and they were lobbying and arguing, and they were vocal. They weren't hiding. And that's what made the difference. I ran into an acquaintance a couple days ago and said, I haven't seen you forever, and he's like, yeah, I live in Dublin. It's like, one would have ever, I mean, a gay couple would have never moved to Dublin in, 80 whatever. I mean, that just, I mean, they very well could have, but you would have never heard of it. I mean, I would have never heard of it.
So there is a sense of community that's there that I think German Village should be so proud of, that it is still viewed as a welcoming community. And it should be so proud of its heritage as far as, leading the way, and I think whenever anybody talks about, the openness, and the comfortableness that especially gay men and women would feel in the city of Columbus, it comes back to German Village. That's where it started, and that's something we should all be proud of.